David James, he made us aware of an incredible discovery, and we're going to get a close look at it right now as we pull in real time. Again, we've just seen these coordinates a few moments ago, but they struck us right here at Third Phase Moon that they're deeming of sharing right here to the world. Are these ancient building structures an ancient civilization in Antarctic discovered? It's hard to tell, but it does seem interesting. And then to the right of this, there's something unusual, to say the least. A black triangle on a circular base of some sort in close proximity to this building or buildings that stand quite tall. Let's do some measurements here. The witness who discovered this said they stood about 70 feet. I'm seeing about 65 feet or so. There's some shadows casted. Let's measure this one up, the black triangle, and it's approximately 65 feet once again. That's pretty interesting that they're the exact same height. It's hard to tell, again, what's going on unless we had boots on the ground there, but good luck with that. But as we get a close-up look at this, something stands out. Is this a TR-3B on some kind of circular launching pad or landing pad? My God, Brent, what's your thoughts here? Yes, Blake, Antarctica, it's a mystery. We're finding all sorts of things there. Google Maps is kind of unveiling it. And what we're looking at, it's hard to tell what it is, but we're looking at something that really resembles what was just discovered in Guatemala. These new structures that has never been seen before, and now this in Antarctica. Don't they look the same? Look at the similarities. It's pretty outstanding. It would just be great if we had boots on the ground like they do in Guatemala, which they're going to be discovering here and doing a lot of exploration. But we need to get to Antarctica and look at this. See if this was real. If it is indeed real, it would be quite the phenomenon. It'd be a great discovery. We're watching this once again, and it's weird. You got anomalies in close proximity to each other. You got the city and then this black triangle. If this indeed is some kind of structure, I would have to guess if there was some kind of ancient civilization there before the Ice Age, this would have to be hundreds, if not maybe over 1 million years old. So the ruins would be quite decrepit. Obviously, these are ancient civilizations if this is indeed what we're looking at. Again, they measure in height 65 feet, both the black triangle and these buildings. But what is this circular pad in this black triangle? It's just so bizarre, guys. I want to get your opinions in this live premiere right here on Third Phase Moon. And if you could help out, copy paste this link and share this all over your social media and tell the world and question, is there an ancient civilization that has just been discovered on Google Maps? We're showing you the coordinates so you can do your own research. It's there, and I wouldn't be surprised in the next few days that Google Earth might just scrub this. Videos are continuous, and the people have their eyes on the skies. Let's take it out to the next panel member, Doc Skinner from 1028 Productions.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, this is some pretty cool. This is a cool find on Google. Pretty cool. Looking at this, I went to the coordinates myself on Google Earth, and so I could zoom in and spin around and check out these objects. And you also notice that there's a direct line, so it's making me wonder if these photos were taken, obviously 2 different periods of time, and the snow coverage makes me wonder, when the side on the left that doesn't look like it's covered in snow, what time of year was that? Was that during their summertime? And do they have that much melt in their snow? Is this like a comparison? And if so, then when we zoom in on these objects, man, this is really interesting because you have 4 almost identical looking objects that seem to be the entrance to what could be a lost city. It makes you wonder because we see a lot of photos online showing supposedly historic images of expeditions where they have taken photos in Antarctica showing ancient structures. And supposedly, in the rumor mill and in the conspiracy world, that is one of the main reasons for keeping Antarctica so top secret and not allowing the main public come to visit. They want to keep control of things and I guess the narrative. But these objects, now we've had objects that have been found on Google Earth in Antarctica before. I've tried to point out shadows. We have to worry about shadows and mountainscapes that create large shadows. And if you follow this, what I call the snow line up to the coast, you'll see some other mountain structures that, if you zoom in closely, you will see that they are shadows from the sun. And so that's what I started looking at. And then I moved back to our location at the latitude and longitude that we're given. And looking at these 4 in particular peaks, I can't see them being shadows of anything. I can't see it. So it's making me wonder, is this a real structure or maybe a temple? Something from an ancient civilization that has been said to have thrived at one point in history in the location we know as Antarctica. Will the secrets of Antarctica finally be revealed? Will nature take its course and have a snow melt like we've never seen before, revealing possibly more pyramids or tombs or temples of some sort? Will we finally learn of a civilization that was at one time just a myth, but now historic fact? Keep the images coming. Send them in the third phase of moon. We'd love to get this out there and have these discussions. The triangle to the left of the towers, I'm not sure about that. TR-3B, who knows? I'm leaning towards a shadow, but it's too symmetrical, two straight lines. So I'm on the fence with that. And the triangle, I call this a teardrop candy because it's been Christmas time and you get all those fun candies. This looks like a white piece of frost with a walnut or something, a triangle walnut put in it. But it is, it's been measured as like, I think 60 something feet. So that, I have no clue what that could be, but it is peculiar. It's out of place. And if you also notice around the triangle on the white cushion, as a, whatever you want to call it, there seems to be what looks like either a trough or a trail that comes down and underneath it and off to the left towards the snow line. So it makes me wonder, is this a pathway or does it branch off and come to these 4 pillars? Who knows? But this is a great find. Keep sending them in.
Appreciate it, Doc, and your opinion. It is interesting that people have their opinions in regards to the phenomenon, and some of us get it right, some of us get it wrong. We're not exactly sure. We're not experts here. We're just experts at getting the latest videos of the phenomenon to the public as soon and as quick as possible.
Alfa Mike Golf 310 com meia dúzia, livre decolagem 28 direita.
Ali decola 28 direita, o Alfa Mike Golf.
Regular horizontal 3435, estabilizado.
All right, let's watch it once more. I did some enhancements and I got a really close look at whatever this is. The camera's jittery and everything's in proximity to each other. I believe what we're looking at is authentic. Again, it's hard to tell what it is. Is it some kind of drone? It shouldn't have been there, but you see the airplane cut through the clouds, and then this thing approaches from right to left, almost dead center in front of the airplane. Was this almost a near collision? If it's a drone, what the heck is it there in close proximity to a major airliner? I ask you, an Airbus. Brent, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's always pretty sketchy when you have these objects get so close to commercial airliners. I'd freak out, especially if you're a pilot and you're seeing this basically coming at you head on. You got to divert. You got to take action. This is really good stuff. I like this close up. It gives a detail. This thing looks metallic and has different kind of appendages to it, highlighting its structure. It's pretty cool. This is great video, Blake.
Absolutely. We got more videos just into third phase of moon. Buckle up. Take a look at this. Broad daylight. Flying saucer encounter.
Que tiene luces. ¿Ya viste, pa?
Es este, ¿no?
Ah, no, ¿ya lo viste? Está arriba del rotoplas.
All right, we're doing a little bit of stabilization on this, enhancing it, not messing with anything except, enhancing so we could get a better look at it. I believe what we're looking at is legit footage. We try our best not to put out any hoaxes out there. We're just trying to share with you things we don't know what it is. And right now we have no idea what we're looking at here. We could speculate that this could be some kind of balloon, but as we look at this a little closer with stabilization and more enhancement, this thing's pretty stable in the air. There's a little oscillation. There's some ring of lights around it. Kind of the characteristics of what Bob Lazar stated, that the sports model was a little unstable and it undulated just so much. But again, I have to say it's pretty stable in the sky as it goes behind that power line there, antenna. I'm not exactly sure, Brent. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah, is this thing rotating? It's so curious. Here's a great close-up right there. And we see, again, multiple colors. Silver. Is this thing, again, metallic? If it is, what's keeping it up in the sky? This is very interesting. It's a UFO. It's unidentified. We don't know what it is. But, man, this one's a curious one.
Yeah, you mentioned that you saw some indicator that this craft was spinning. I'm trying to see if this is some kind of optical illusion, but as we get a little closer here, it's off at the distance, but let's bring it up to the point as it passed behind the line there. Again, authentic video, broad daylight. This is what people want to see, and the people on the ground, you could hear that they were going la loose. There's a strange light, there's a craft, and then it passes. What is that, a water tower? I'm not exactly sure, but is this some kind of craft? It has this dome on the top. You have these white lights surrounding it. It seems pretty stable. Is it rotating? If it is, it's very slow at the moment. There is that undulation there. But then you see these other white lights that pop, and we see a reveal of some kind of orange and a little bit of white on top. Man, this one's a weird one. We're not seeing any tether or anything revealing that this is simply some kind of hot air balloon or a blimp, a parachute. Don't think so. No drones. I'm not seeing any prop propeller blades. I'm telling you, I just don't know what it is. Again, this close-up photograph really catches my interest. That we did a lot of enhancements to bring out the detail on that. But again, this is something unidentified. Guys, what do you think is going on in this video?
This particular sighting is curious to me because it's somewhat reminiscent of the more traditional UFO design we've seen in our skies since the early part of the last century. It's quite clear that this object is some distance away, and we do see a pole in the foreground eclipsing the object as it moves steadily along. One of the things we've always observed with these unidentified crafts is the particular movement, or lack thereof, that they exhibit. In many cases, movement may appear erratic, chaotic, or spontaneous. In other cases, we find the craft smoothly drifting along, as if there was some type of consistent propulsion being implemented. With the object we see in the video, there is a certain oscillation, as Blake mentions, around the bottom of the craft, either something reflective or illuminating, which doesn't appear to run in a cyclical fashion, but rather back and forth. There are no signs of exterior lights that we should be familiar with in respect to conventional aircraft, and because this object seems to be moving at a decent speed, I don't believe this to be a balloon caught in the wind. At the mercy of the wind, even without too much turbulence, one can usually detect and observe the effect on the craft. We've heard from many different sources and certain factions within our governments and privatized organizations that there are those who have been working with anti-gravity methodology and have been quite successful based on certain reports. Perhaps you and I will not know the extent of this technology until it is used backwards and forwards, but if we are witnessing craft that belong to us, that certainly don't hold anything in way of conventional propulsion, of course, we are left with the idea that we may be witnessing inadvertently some of these anti-gravity systems in action. As discussed many times before, the architecture of these objects certainly reflect the propulsion that they may utilize, and in this case, the acorn shape certainly doesn't remind us, once again, of anything conventional. There's an undeniable continuity on the facade of this craft, once again spurring curiosity about the actual design of what we see in our skies. Objects moving about of their own accord, without any wings or propellers to stabilize them within their environment. This is a very curious video and certainly one to add to the archives, as there are so many others who parallel and reflect this exact experience.
Appreciate it, Michael from Dark Hour Paranormal. And let me tell you, you're right about some of the things in regards to the phenomenon. These videos are hard to explain exactly what it is, and that's what we're here for. We're trying to find out what the phenomenon is. We want to get answers. The government's not giving it to us, that's for sure. It's up to us, the public, to bring disclosure. Now, we want to bring in Alien Girl 111. She's participating in the panel member discussion in regards to the phenomenon. Alien Girl, what's your thoughts?
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on. This is a really exciting UFO that I just couldn't wait to start talking about. So this UFO that just showed up in Brazil blows my mind. It's so intricate, and this is such great close-up footage. And when it comes directly from an airport, especially when we see these craft going right by airplanes, commercial airplanes, that's fascinating to me. The amount of attention that probably should be put more onto this just isn't really there in other news outlets. But when we look at this image, we could see that this object went right by a plane at the São Paulo International Airport in Brazil. And Brazil, as we know, is an incredible hotspot for all sorts of different sightings. And so when we do a close-up of this object, and when we enhance it and we slow it down, because this is just really a quick couple-second bite, and what we see here is this is a cube-like structure with spikes on it. Cube-like structures with spikes on it have also been reported. In February of 2020, there was actually a commercial airplane, Airbus, flying over Colombia, and it was taking off from Colombia. And they actually also saw a cube-like structure flying in the sky that had spikes to it. This is something that's been reported in various outlets, not to mention the wide array of all sorts of pilots, commercial airline pilots, who feel incredibly comfortable these days to come out and talk with it. We're seeing a lot more pilots come out, sharing footage they've seen on the cockpit, sharing things that they've seen, sharing stories of other pilots, and it's just great. So I really love this footage, mostly specifically how it can relate to other sightings that are happening in that direct area. But I just love it so much. This is a great UFO video, awesome find, and thanks so much for letting me share my opinion with you guys. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Amy from Alien Girl 111. Appreciate your thoughts and your opinions in regards to the phenomenon. It really means a lot.
You know that I love looking for these weird anomalies that make absolute no sense when it comes to the sun. Now, these are not meteors, these are not asteroids. Meteors only have tails once they hit the atmosphere of the Earth, so just the sheer fact alone that this thing has a tail eliminates a meteor. Now, very quickly, before we get into a detailed look of this new object we found, I'm just showing you some of the ones I have discovered and posted in the past that have been on many different UFO websites. websites, many different scientific websites, all sorts of people trying to figure out what these things are, because there really is no explanation. And again, I hate to call them ships or craft because I personally don't know. Actually, that is a lie. I do love calling them craft, but don't tell anybody. All I do know is that these are rare occasions. This does not happen every day, and I'm just lucky enough to be able to watch these cameras enough to actually capture these things. Alright, so let's get back to why we're actually here. Again, today on Christmas there was a CME. It was just underneath an M-class CME, so nothing significant, but again, the significance is what happened after the fact. And it's been theorized many times that when CMEs take place, according to the UFO community, that ships tend to want to be around these areas to either refuel or absorb some sort of energy or are attracted to them. And I can't help but notice that when I capture these anomalies, it tends to be during CMEs. And as hard as it is to capture these things as it is, being able to zoom in and then enhance these images, we get some very interesting detail, as in shapes that don't resemble rocks but more like highlighted craft, or again just something other than a space rock. Now, in many cases, things come in threes, and I like to put that in my videos. So first we had the CME, then we had our mysterious object that just so happens to pass through the solar wind or energy of this CME, but there is one more thing I want to show you that happens literally moments later. Now, you are watching the raw footage of this CME, and already what we discussed what happens in the CME with the object, but as I take a freeze frame and we go up to the northern part of the sun, take a look at this. And I can't stress enough, this is moments after we see that first object. I have an enhanced version of it you will see right now. Yet another odd anomaly, either passing by the sun or leaving off the surface of the sun. I can't tell which, but what I do know is that these things are happening during solar events, as in CMEs, and when the sun is currently releasing energy. I've captured it time and time again. You can go back in my videos and watch. I will link some of them in the description box. But unless I am told and proved otherwise, this is going down as an anomaly that just should not be there. And I don't see anybody else on the internet posting this stuff. I have great gratitude towards Thirdphaseofmoon and channels like GoofOn that do promote this work that I put out to show the world that this stuff is actually happening.
That's right, it's happening, and thank you, Into Thin Air, for your eyes peeled on the LASCO cams and exposing NASA in regards to the UFO phenomenon. Why aren't they explaining this to us? I think NASA has stated that they're getting into the UFO hunt. Well, can you explain what Into Thin Air is discovering here? Is this some kind of anomaly, a glitch of the camera? I highly doubt it. The evidence is just overwhelming of what's going on. These are craft, or maybe UFOs, larger than our own planet. And Into Thin Air is continuing to bring forth evidence on a weekly basis of these anomalies that can't be denied. So I say to anybody out there that says Thirdphaseofmoon is just putting out fake videos, we're sharing you the real stuff. Google Earth coordinates and NASA's footage. Go ask NASA if they're faking it. We're just giving you the evidence, and Into Thin Air is doing a great job. Brett, what do you make of this new discovery? Is this some kind of Starcraft?
Yeah, I kind of remember. Right there. Yeah, Blake, it kind of resembles Superman with a cape behind it. This stuff is amazing. Into Thin Air's got the eye on the sun, and he's basically breaking these down every week on his channel. And right now, I'm looking at the comments. People have all sorts of ideas what this could be, and it's up for opinion, because we don't know what this is. But right now we're looking at an anomaly, a phenomenon that keeps happening over the years that we've been here at Thirdphaseofmoon. We've seen hundreds of these strange anomalies. Now the big question is, what in the hell is this? Yeah, some people might speculate that these are just simply meteorites, but recently on an episode that Into Thin Air posted and we shared on Thirdphaseofmoon, it changed directions. If you just remembered, that was a few days ago. So meteorites just don't change directions on a dime. And this one, I think, would have burned up that close to the sun.
It seems whatever's going on is more evidence of the possibility that there are UFOs that are in close proximity to our star in our solar system, harnessing the energy. And again, this is amazing footage right at the tip of the sun itself. We see more of these craft with these beams behind it. Is that the propulsion? Is that maybe some kind of plasmic beam being highlighted by the light of the sun? Again, two objects in different places, very similar characteristics. It's hard to say what we're looking at, but I think NASA needs to explain to us, the people, exactly what these are. Or if they don't know, at least admit it. And that would be nice for a change. There's a lot of people out there that think they know everything. And we're claiming we're not experts. We're just sharing you the evidence as fast as possible. That's what we do here at Third Phase Moon. We've got more evidence.
So right now I am looking at the video that was sent in by Into Thin Air about the objects coming out of the sun, and I find this really fascinating because to me I connect this with my research into the Kardashev scale, which is basically this physics concept about how it would be possible to become a type 1, type 2, type 3 civilization, and there's even theories of more beyond that. And basically the differences between this is a type 1 civilization is being able to harness the energy of our own planet, which we have not done yet. Or maybe past civilizations have, I'm not sure, but right now currently we are not able to harness the energy of our own planet. Becoming a type 2 civilization is being able to harness the energy of the sun, which really looks to me like what these objects coming out of the sun may be doing if they are ships. I don't really see these being anything besides ships. I don't see how this could be, you know, an object being blasted out of the sun. I mean, it definitely looks like some sort of, you know, material object, not something gaseous or, you know, a burst of, you know, fire coming out of the sun. It looks to me like very obviously like an object, as you see here. So to me, this really makes me think of the Kardashev scale and a civilization that may have become a type 2 civilization. So a type 2 civilization is a civilization that's able to harness the energy of their sun or their planet's star. So a lot of scientists have actually really theorized how this could be possible, and some of these theories, they talk about the Dyson sphere. Other ones, they say that, you know, it's possible that ships can just go to stars and pull energy out of them and fly away and power up and fly away, as he was actually just mentioning in this video. So to me, this really looks like this could be what is going on, and I've heard a lot of people mention seeing things like this come out of the sun. This is something that's talked about quite a bit. And it really makes a lot of sense when you look into the Kardashev scale and how it could be possible. It makes a lot of sense that, you know, different ET races could be sending ships to the sun to pull energy out of the sun, you know, maybe from other solar systems passing by. Who knows? But to me, this definitely looks like some sort of object, and it looks to me like something, you know, an object, a material object that's pulling some sort of energy out of the sun. So I definitely think that it's possible that that is what is going on here, and this is definitely what comes to mind for me when I look at this. So very fascinating. Thanks so much for sending this in.
I appreciate everybody joining us in our latest episode right here at Third Phase of Moon. It's been our pleasure bringing you the latest evidence from around the world, and if you've captured anything amazing out there, don't hesitate. Upload that video to YouTube, copy paste that link to my email. Who knows, maybe you'll see your video right here at Third Phase of Moon, and the world can decide what it is. This is Third Phase of Moon, along with our panel members. Everybody be safe out there. Keep your eyes on the skies. Blake Cousins. We'll see ya next time.